Shri Gauranga Gunana Vidho Shraddha Samidhanito Pavakapuni Krintana Tanubrita Govinda Ganamritarim Anandam Buddhivardhanito Nipuno Hoivalla Nistarako Vande Rupa Sanatana Prabhu Jugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatana Prabhu
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda,
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda,
Jai Advaita Chandrika, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda,
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda,
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
So tonight we're starting chapter 20, Manjalila. Text 1. The Lord instructs Sanatana Goswami. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has unlimited wonderful opulences. By his mercy, even a person born as the lowest of men can spread the science of devotional service. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While Sanatana Goswami was imprisoned in Bengal, a letter arrived from Srila Rupa Goswami. Purport. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur informs us that this letter from Rupa Goswami to Sanatana Goswami is mentioned by the annotator of the Udbhata Chandrika. Sri Rupa Goswami wrote a note to Sanatana Goswami from Bakla. This note indicated that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming to Mathura. The note stated, "Where has the Mathura Puri of Yadupati gone? Where has the northern Koshala of Raghupati gone? By reflection, make the mind steady, thinking this universe is not eternal." When Sanatana Goswami received this note from Rupa Goswami, he became very pleased. He immediately went to the jail superintendent, who was a meat eater, and spoke as follows. Sanatana Goswami told the Muslim jailkeeper, "Dear sir, you are a saintly person and very fortunate. You have full knowledge of the revealed scriptures such as the Quran and similar books. If one releases a conditioned soul or imprisoned person according to religious principles, he himself is also released from material bondage by the Supreme Personality of Godhead." Purport. It appears from this statement that Sanatana Goswami, who was formerly a minister of the Nawa, was trying to cheat the Muslim superintendent. A jail superintendent had only an ordinary education, or practically no education. And he was certainly not supposed to be very advanced in spiritual knowledge. But just to satisfy him, Sanatana Goswami praised him as a very learned scholar of the scriptures. The jailkeeper could not deny that he was a learned scholar. Because one is elevated to an exalted position, one thinks oneself fit for that position. Sanatana Goswami was correctly explaining the effects of spiritual activity, and the jailkeeper connected his statement with his release from jail. There are innumerable conditioned souls rotting in the material world, imprisoned by Maya under the spell of sense gratification. The living entity is so entranced by the spell of Maya that in conditioned life, even a pig feels satisfied. There are two kinds of covering powers exhibited by Maya. One is called Pratyekshit-Atmika, and the other is called Avarna-Atmika. When one is determined to get out of material bondage, the Pratyekshit-Atmika Shakti, the spell of diversion, impels one to remain in conditioned life, fully satisfied by sense gratification. Due to the other power, Avarna-Atmika, a conditioned soul feels satisfied even if he is rotting in the body of a pig or a worm in stool. To release a conditioned soul from material bondage is very difficult because the spell of Maya is so strong. Even when the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself descends to deliver conditioned souls, asking them to surrender unto him, the conditioned souls do not agree to the Lord's proposal. Therefore, Sri Sanatana Goswami said, somehow or other, if one helps another gain release from the bondage of Maya, he is certainly recognized immediately by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 1869, Nacha tasman manushesu kaschan me priyakritum maha bhagavita na chame tasmat anya priya taro bhuvi. The greatest service one can render to the Lord is to try to infuse devotional service into the heart of the conditioned soul, so that the conditioned soul may be released from conditioned life. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that a Vaishnava is recognized by his preaching work. That is, by convincing the conditioned soul about his eternal position, which is explained here as Nija Dharma. It is the living entity's eternal position to serve the Lord. Therefore, to help one get released from material bondage is to awaken one to the dormant understanding that he is the eternal servant of Krishna. Jiva Swarupa Hai, Krishnara Nityadas. This will be further explained by the Lord himself to Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami continued, previously I have done much for you. Now I am in difficulty. Please return my goodwill by releasing me. Here are 5,000 gold coins. Please accept them. By releasing me, you will receive the results of pious activities and gain material profit as well. Thus, you will profit in two ways simultaneously. In this way, Sanatana Goswami convinced the jailkeeper, who replied, please hear me, my dear sir. I am willing to release you while I am afraid of the government. Sanatana replied, there is no danger. The Nawab has gone to the south. If he returns, tell him that Sanatana went to pay near the bank of the Ganges, and that as soon as he saw the Ganges, he jumped in. Tell him, I looked for him for a long time, but I could not find any trace of him. He jumped in with his shackles, and therefore he was drowned and washed away by the waves. There is no reason for you to be afraid, for I shall not remain in this country. I shall become a mendicant and go to the holy city of Mecca. Sanatana Goswami could see that the mind of the meat eater was still not satisfied. He then stacked 7,000 gold coins before him. When the meat eater saw the coins, he was attracted to them. He then agreed. And that night, he cut Sanatana's shackles and let them cross the Ganges. In this way, Sanatana Goswami was released. However, he was not able to walk along the path of the fortress. Walking day and night, he finally arrived at the hilly tract of land known as Patada. After reaching Patada, he met a landholder and submissively requested him to get him across that hilly tract of land. A man who was expert in palmistry was at that time staying with the landlord. Knowing about Sanatana, he whispered the following in the landlord's ear. The palmist said, this man Sanatana possesses 8 gold coins. Hearing this, the landlord was very pleased and spoke the following to Sanatana Goswami. The landlord said, I shall get you across that hilly tract at night with my own men. Now, just cook for yourself and take your lunch. Saying this, the landlord offered Sanatana grain to cook. Sanatana then went to the riverside and took his bath. Because Sanatana had been fasting for 2 days, he cooked the food and ate it. However, having formerly been a minister of the Nawab, he began to contemplate the situation. As a former minister for the Nawab, Sanatana could certainly understand diplomacy. He therefore thought, why is this landlord offering me such respect? Thinking in this way, he questioned his servant, whose name was Ishana. Sanatana asked the servant, Ishana, I think that you have some valuable things with you. Ishana replied, yes, I have 7 gold coins. Hearing this, Sanatana Goswami chastised the servant, saying, why have you brought this death knell with you? Thereupon, Sanatana Goswami took the 7 gold coins in his hands and went to the landlord. Holding the gold coins before him, he spoke as follows. I have these 7 gold coins with me. Please accept them, and from a religious point of view, please get me across that hilly tract of land. I'm a prisoner of the government, and I cannot go along the way of the ramparts. It will be very pious of you to take this money and kindly get me across this hilly tract of land. Smiling, the landlord said, before you offer them, I already knew that there were 8 gold coins in your servant's possession. On this very night, I would have killed you and taken your coins. It is very good that you voluntarily offer them to me. I am now relieved from such a sinful activity. I am very satisfied with your behavior. I shall not accept these gold coins, but I shall get you across that hilly tract of land simply to perform a pious activity. Sanatana Goswami replied, If you do not accept these coins, someone else will kill me for them. It is better that you save me from the danger by accepting the coins. After the settlement was made, the landlord gave Sanatana Goswami 4 watchmen to accompany him. They went through the forest path for the whole night and thus brought him over the hilly tract of land. After crossing the hills, Sanatana Goswami told his servant, Ishana, I think that you still have some balance left from the gold coins. Ishana replied, I still have 1 gold coin in my possession. Sanatana Goswami then said, take the coin and return to your home. After departing from Ishana, Sanatana Goswami began traveling alone with a water pot in his hand. Simply covered with a torn quilt, he thus lost all his anxiety. Walking and walking, Sanatana Goswami finally arrived at a place called Hajipur. That evening, he sat down within a garden. In Hajipur, there was a gentleman named Shrikant, who happened to be the husband of Sanatana Goswami's sister. He was engaged there in government service. Shrikant had 300,000 gold coins with him, which had been given to him by the emperor for the purchase of horses. Thus, Shrikant was buying horses and dispatching them to the emperor. When Shrikant was sitting in an elevated place, he could see Sanatana Goswami. That night, he took a servant and went to see Sanatana Goswami. When they met, they had many conversations. Sanatana Goswami told him in detail about his arrest and release. Shrikant then told Sanatana Goswami, stay here for at least 2 days and dress up like a gentleman, abandon these dirty garments. Sanatana Goswami replied, I shall not stay here even for a moment. Please help me across the Ganges. I shall leave immediately. With great care, Sanatana Goswami gave him a woolen blanket and helped him cross the Ganges. Thus Sanatana Goswami departed again. After a few days, Sanatana Goswami arrived at Varanasi. He was very pleased to hear about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival there. Sanatana Goswami then went to the house of Chandrasekhar and sat down by the door. Understanding what was happening, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke to Chandrasekhar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, there is a devotee at your door. Please call him in. Going outside, Chandrasekhar could not see a Vaishnava at his door. When Chandrasekhar informed the Lord that no Vaishnava was at his door, the Lord asked him, is there anyone at all at your door? Chandrasekhar replied, there is a Muslim mendicant. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately said, please bring him here. Chandrasekhar then spoke to Sanatana Goswami, who was still sitting beside the door. O Muslim mendicant, please come in. The Lord is calling you. Sanatana Goswami was very pleased to hear this order, and he entered Chandrasekhar's house. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Sanatana Goswami in the courtyard, he immediately went up to him with great haste. After embracing him, the Lord was overwhelmed with ecstatic love. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched Sanatana Goswami, Sanatana was also overwhelmed with ecstatic love. In a faltering voice, he said, O my Lord, do not touch me. Shoulder to shoulder, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami began to cry unlimitedly. Chandrasekhar was very much astonished to see this. Catching his hand, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Sanatana Goswami inside and made him sit on an elevated place next to him. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began cleansing Sanatana Goswami's body with his own transcendental hand, Sanatana Goswami said, O my Lord, please do not touch me. The Lord replied, I am touching you just to purify myself, because by the force of your devotional service, you can purify the whole universe. Saints of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage. Because of their purity, they are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. Purport. This verse was spoken by Maharaj Yudhisthira to Vidura in Srimad Bhagavatam first canto. Vidura was returning home after visiting sacred places of pilgrimage, and Maharaj Yudhisthira was receiving his saintly uncle. In essence, Maharaj Yudhisthira was saying, "My dear Lord Vidura, you yourself are a holy place because you are an advanced devotee. People like you always carry Lord Vishnu in their hearts. You can revitalize all holy places after they have been polluted by the pilgrimages of sinners. The sinful person goes to a holy place of pilgrimage to be purified. In a holy place, there are many saintly people and temples of Lord Vishnu. However, the holy place becomes infected with the sins of many visitors. When an advanced devotee goes to a holy place, he counteracts all the sins of the pilgrimage. Therefore, Maharaj Yudhisthira addressed Vidura in this way. Since an advanced devotee carries Lord Vishnu within his heart, he is moving temple and a moving Vishnu. An advanced devotee does not need to go to holy places, for wherever he stays is a holy place. In this connection, Narottam Das Thakur states, Tirtha Yatra Parishrama Kevala Manara Brahma. Visiting holy places is simply another type of bewilderment. Since an advanced devotee does not need to go to a holy place, why does he go? The answer is that he goes simply to purify the place. Lord Krishna said, even though a person is a very learned scholar of the Sanskrit Vedic literatures, he is not accepted as my devotee unless he is pure in devotional service. However, even though a person is born in a family of dog eaters, he is very dear to me if he is a pure devotee who has no motive to enjoy fruitive activity or mental speculation. Indeed, all respect should be given to him, and whatever he offers should be accepted. Such devotees are as worshipable as I am. This verse is included in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. One may be born in a Brahmin family and have all Brahminical qualities, but if he is not devoted to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who has a navel shaped like a lotus, he is not as good as a Chandala, who has dedicated his mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the service of the Lord. Simply to take birth in a Brahmin family or to have Brahminical qualities is not sufficient. One must become a pure devotee of the Lord. If a Swapacha or Chandala is a devotee, he delivers not only himself, but his whole family. Whereas a Brahmin who is not a devotee, but simply has Brahminical qualifications, cannot even purify himself, what to speak of his family. Purport. This verse is spoken by Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto. A Brahmin is supposed to be qualified with 12 qualities as stated in Mahabharata. A Brahmin must be perfectly religious, he must be truthful, and he must be able to control his senses. He must execute severe austerities, and he must be detached, humble, and tolerant. He must not envy anyone, and he must be expert in performing sacrifices and giving whatever he has in charity. He must be fixed in devotional service and expert in the knowledge of the Vedas. These are the 12 qualifications for a Brahmin. The Bhagavad Gita 1842 describes the Brahminical qualities in this way: peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmins work. In Muktapala Tika, it is said, mental equilibrium, sense-control, austerity, cleanliness, tolerance, simplicity, detachment, theoretical and practical knowledge, satisfaction, truthfulness, and firm faith in the Vedas are the 12 qualities of a Brahmin. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, by seeing you, by touching you, and by glorifying your transcendental qualities, one can perfect the purpose of all sense activity. This is the verdict of the revealed scriptures. This is confirmed in the following verse from Hari Bhakti Sudodaya. My dear Vaishnava, seeing a person like you is the perfection of one's eyesight. Touching your lotus feet is the perfection of the sense of touch, and glorifying your good qualities is the tongue's real activity. For in the material world, it is very difficult to find a pure devotee of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, my dear Sanatan, please hear from me. Krishna is very merciful, and he is the deliverer of all fallen souls. My dear Sanatan, Krishna has saved you from Maharovara, life's deepest hell. He is an ocean of mercy, and his activities are very grave. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 1861, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Vidachejana Tishtati. Staying within everyone's heart, Lord Krishna works very gravely. No one can understand how he is working, but as soon as the Lord understands the sincere activity of a person in devotional service, he helps him in such a way that the devotee cannot understand how things are happening. If the devotee is determined to serve the Lord is always prepared to help him. Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Vayantite. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami how merciful the Lord is. Sanatana Goswami was a minister in the service of Nawab Hussain Shah. He was always mixing with materially inclined people, particularly with Muslims, meat eaters. Although he was in intimate touch with them, by Krishna's mercy, he came to find such association distasteful. Therefore he left them. As stated by Srinivasacharya, Krishna enlightened Sanatana Goswami in such a way that he was able to give up his exalted post as a minister. Thinking his material position insignificant, Sanatana was prepared to become a mendicant. Appreciating the activities of Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised his action and thanked Krishna for his mercy upon him. Sanatana replied, I do not know who Krishna is. As far as I am concerned, I have been released from prison only by your mercy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked Sanatana Goswami, how were you released from prison? Sanatana Goswami then described the story from beginning to end. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I met your two brothers, Rupa and Anupama, at Prayag. They have now gone to Vrindavan. By the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami met both Tapana Mishra and Chandrasekhara. Tapana Mishra then extended an invitation to Sanatana, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sanatana to go get a shave. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Chandrasekhara and asked him to take Sanatana Goswami with him. He also asked him to take away Sanatana's present dress. Chandrasekhara then made Sanatana Goswami look like a gentleman. He took him to bathe in the Ganges, and afterwards he brought him a new set of clothes. Purple. The words Bhadra Karana are significant in this verse. Due to his long hair, moustache, and beard, Sanatana Goswami looked like a Dharavesha or a hippie. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not like Sanatana Goswami's hippie features, he immediately asked Chandrasekhara to get him shaved clean. If anyone with long hair or beard wants to join this Krishna conscious movement and live with us, he must similarly shave himself clean. The followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu consider long hair objectionable. Sanatana Goswami was saved from a hellish condition, Maharovara, by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maharovara is a hell where animal killers are placed. In this regard, refer to Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto. Chandrasekhara offered a new set of garments to Sanatana Goswami, but Sanatana did not accept them. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard news of this, he became unlimitedly happy. After bathing at noon, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the house of Tapana Mishra for lunch. He took Sanatana Goswami with him. After washing his feet, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down for lunch. He asked Tapana Mishra to supply Sanatana Goswami lunch also. Tapana Mishra then said, Sanatana has some duty to perform, therefore he cannot accept lunch now. At the conclusion of the meal, I shall supply Sanatana with some remnants. After eating, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took rest for a while. Tapana Mishra then gave Sanatana Goswami the remnants of food left by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Tapana Mishra offered Sanatana Goswami a new cloth, he did not accept it. Instead, he spoke as follows. If you want to give me some cloth, according to your desire, please give me an old cloth you have already used. When Tapana Mishra gave Sanatana Goswami a used dhoti, Sanatana immediately tore it into pieces to make 2 sets of outer cloth and underwear. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced the Maharashtrian Brahman to Sanatana, the Brahman immediately invited Sanatana Goswami for a full meal. The Brahman said, My dear Sanatana, as long as you remain at Kashi, please accept lunch at my place. Sanatana replied, I shall practice the process of Madhukari. Why should I accept full meals in the house of a Brahman? Purport. The word Madhukari comes from the word Madhukara, which refers to bees collecting honey from flower to flower. A Madhukari is a saintly person or a mendicant who does not accept a full meal at one house but begs from door to door, taking a little food from each householder's place. In this way, he does not overeat or give householders unnecessary trouble. A person in the renounced order may beg but not cook. His begging should not be a burden for the householders. The Madhukari process is strictly to be followed by a Babaji, that is, one who has attained the Paramahamsa stage. This practice is still current in Vrindavan, and there are many places where alms are offered. Unfortunately, there are many beggars who have come to Vrindavan to accept alms but not follow the principles of Sanatana Goswami. People try to imitate him and lead an idle life by practicing Madhukari. It is almost impossible to strictly follow Sanatana Goswami or Rupa Goswami. It is better to accept food offered to Krishna in the temple than to try to imitate Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Bhagavad Gita 6:17. The ideal sannyasi strictly follows the ways practiced by the Goswamis. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita